It happened on the night of August 23rd, 1974.
I just sort of turned round and there was this thing about 100 foot away.
John Lennon saw it, and so did his girlfriend, May Pang.
And I'm screaming, it's a UFO!
But only now, 23 years later, are people taking the first close look at this long-lost episode, a day in the life of a Beatle. And for the first time, May Pang is revealing the long, hidden sketches made by John Lennon of what he saw. And stranger still, some are even taking a closer look at John Lennon's death, and the possibility that it was linked to something he wasn't supposed to see or talk about.
It must be a flying saucer. You don't want to face it, you know.
John Lennon's apparent close encounter came at a time after he'd left the Beatles. He was living in New York City, fighting a U.S. government attempt to deport him. He was under surveillance by the FBI because of his left-wing political activities. And he was separated from his wife, Yoko Ono, living with his one-time assistant, May Pang, in a penthouse on East 52nd Street.
We were finishing up the Walls and Bridges album that John had been working on. And he decided to take a walk out on our terrace. And now, mind you, he is new.
But if John Lennon made quite a sight, it was nothing compared to what May Pang said they were both about to see for themselves.
And all of a sudden I see him yelling out to me, going, May, come out here. So I go running out to the terrace. And I go, what is it? I mean, what? And I stopped. And I looked up and I saw this saucer-like thing over our heads. It's going over us very, very slowly, like a snail. And as it was flying over us, it just sort of wavered. It just tilted, went on sort of on its side a little. And I'm screaming, it's a UFO! And there was no noise coming out of it. That's what was amazing. And it just hovered over this building for a good 5 minutes. It turned around and it moved out and it just went straight up into the sky. You just watched it go straight up.
John Lennon didn't keep the sighting to himself. He called the police, and they told him they'd already gotten 3 calls. He called a newspaper. They'd gotten 6. Within days, John Lennon was also on the phone to a radio station, where he spoke to all who were tuned in.
I just sort of turned round and there was this thing about 100 foot away and very low below the height of the buildings, you know. And I was thinking, what is it? I think, it's a flying saucer. It must be a flying saucer. But you don't want to face it, you know. Even if you're a freak like me, you still want to think, oh, it's a balloon or something.
This is an envelope that I saved over the years, in 1974, which is a picture that John actually drew. And it's his version, it's his drawing of what this saucer looked like. So here's the white light go around, and here we see the bright red steady light on top.
And here's where the story takes a twist into the unknown. It was shortly after the sighting and completion of the Walls and Bridges album that John Lennon reunited with Yoko Ono and retired from the music business and public life for 5 years. Shortly after he reemerged with a new album and a new vision, he was murdered. In hindsight, May Pang has but one regret, that her former lover John Lennon was not granted his fondest wish, to be beamed up by the UFO and taken away. Maybe then, he'd still be alive, in some other time, in some other place.
I just remember having a conversation shortly thereafter. John's looking at me and saying, he goes, I wish they had taken me. He would like to have gone.
There's a couple of quotes on your new album I found amusing and interesting enough to ask you about. Possession is 9/10 of the problem.
Oh, yeah.
that seems to be on your album. And did you really see a UFO?
I did really. I wouldn't have put it on, you know, if I hadn't seen it.
There's a little tiny note that people could miss if they don't look carefully down in one of the lower corners of your liner notes. It says, I saw a UFO September something, something, something. What was the story behind that? Where did that happen?
Well, I was in New York in an apartment, and I was just standing by the roof, and I looked left, and there was this thing about 100 yards away. I could have hit it with a stone if I threw it. And it was really, I could have even seen it without my glasses, and I'm very short-sighted. And I was looking at it and thinking, what is it? What is it? You know, is it a helicopter? No, it's making no noise. Is it a balloon? You know, is it the blimp? Because there's all these lights around the bottom of it, flashing on and off.
It didn't say American Airlines on it, did it?
It didn't say anything. It didn't make a noise. And you know, one part of me all the time was saying, that's a UFO, you know. But some part of you doesn't want to believe it, you know.
Did you go to the authorities with that information?
Well, I didn't, because, you know, Lennon sees UFO. I mean, that's enough to get me kicked out for, you know, it's bad enough as it is.
I suppose it would be.
That's why I almost took it off the album. But one time I said, pull it off. I'm going to get people with weird-looking eyes coming up to me saying, I've come from the saucer, you know.
And I've seen it too, yeah.
Yeah, and the other bit is they're going to say he's crazy, you know. But I thought, look, I saw it. You know, I don't care what anybody says. There it was, and nobody can explain what it was to me. So I said UFO, you know.
Amazing. This is in California.
No, this was in New York.
New York, of all places.
Below the height of the buildings. I mean, it was like, you know, if somebody had been in a higher building, they would have looked down on it.
Did you talk to anybody else that said they saw it too?
I got a friend to call the police and call the newspapers the next day to check if anybody else had seen anything. And a couple of people had rung in and seen something in the same area at the same time as me.
People in New York are sometimes oblivious to reality, you know. Things could be happening around them and they wouldn't even notice it. You know,
well, I'll stick up for New York a bit. I think it's pretty real here, you know. It's just that, you know, I would never have noticed it if I hadn't happened to look out. You know, I looked around me and nobody else was looking out of windows or anything. The cars were going on because it's quiet. It's very low. It's not you expect a sort of Martian in the sky. It was below rooftop level and it was just coasting around very quietly like a tourist, you know.
It's amazing.
And it was just hot luck that I saw it.
Amazing.
Excuse the expression. And I was straight as a die. I was straight as a die.
I had to kill him. Before they killed me. I had to kill him. Can't you understand? I had to kill him. They killed me unless I kill them. Can't you understand?